Football's back. Let's go. Hello folks, today I'll be talking about my top 10 quarterbacks for this upcoming football season. But before I start, I'm taking place from my college right now, York College of PA. That's in Pennsylvania. That's where I will be right now for this rest of the year for filming stuff because I'm taking classes here for school. Hello folks, today I'll be talking about my top 10 QBs for this upcoming football season. But before I start that, I'm in a new film studio right now, as you can see from behind me. Right now, I'm at my college, York College of PA. This is where I'll be for my school for this year right now. And then after that, I'll be home and then I'll be back in my old studio. So until then, this is gonna be a temporary studio for me. So let's move on to our programming. But the way I did my rankings for this video, I didn't have Deshaun Watson in it because I have no idea what his situation is, if he's gonna play for a football team this year or not. So I thought it was best to keep him out. So just to give you guys a heads up, he's not gonna be in this list. So I have an honor mention for this list because this quarterback, he was pretty good, but he just missed out because there's so many great guys ahead of him. He just missed out, and I like to give an honor mention to Matthew Stafford. He was pretty good last year. He just got traded last offseason to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Goff and a couple first-round picks. He was good with the Lions, and he just didn't have the right guys with him in Detroit, so now he gets to go to the Rams. And I think the Rams got a pretty good deal out of that because, one, they don't care about first-round picks. Two, it was Jared Goff, and Jared Goff is not that good. So with Matthew Stafford, hopefully he becomes the better quarterback and helps get the Rams to the Super Bowl. But let's look at his stats from last season. He had 26 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. That's pretty good. Despite that interception, it's still good. 4,084 passing yards. That's good. 64.2 completion percentage. That's pretty good. And a 68.4 QBR. That could be a little bit better, but it's still good enough. And then he had a 96.3 pass rating. So Matthew Stafford had pretty good stats, but he didn't have enough stats to make that top 10 list. I believe he'll be good for the Rams this season, but he's just outside of the quarterback position. So I think next year he'll definitely make the top 10 list, but for right now, he's not going to make it until he gets better. All right, so at number 10 I have on my list is Baker Mayfield, bacon brownies he's making. This guy, he turned it up a whole lot last year. It wasn't like a Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen quarterback wise, but he turned into a solid quarterback for the Browns last year. He had 36 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, 3,563 passing yards. That's okay. Most quarterbacks get 4,000, but that's like an okay stats, but pretty impressed by that touchdown interception ratio. Had a 62.8 completion percentage, okay-ish too. That's not impressive. He had a 72.1 QBR and a 95.9 passer rating. So that's pretty good. It's just his completion percentage, his passing yards aren't that good. So that's why I have him at 10 right now. And he's turned into a solid quarterback, and he's probably going to take another step up with his offensive weapons by having one of the best offensive lines. Multiple weapons like Hooper, Juice, Odell, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, a bunch of other guys too for the Browns. So I think Baker's going to take another step and try to get into that elite quarterback conversation. He's a solid quarterback right now, but he needs to take another step, and I think he will this season to make it into the elite quarterback. At number 9, I have is Justin Herbert. He was phenomenal last year in his rookie year. He was great with Keenan Allen, made him a great fantasy wide receiver. Thank you, Justin Herbert. He drove the offense for the Chargers so much better, but they choked a couple times last year, which cost them games. But that offense was phenomenal for Chargers. Some of his stats from last year were 31 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. That's impressive. 4,336 passing yards. Impressive. 66.6 completion percentage. 69.5 QBR, and a 98.3 passer rating. That is pretty impressive for a rookie quarterback to do in its first year in the NFL, because usually most of them struggle in their first year. But Justin Herbert, he was a sleeper quarterback coming into the NFL, and he performed phenomenal. So I think Herbert is going to take another step up. He can get into that elite conversation already into his second year. So with Herbert, he still has Austin Eckler, great running back, Keenan Allen still, who's a top 10 wide receiver, So the Chargers have great offense and they're going to have a good defense. So Herbert is going to lead this team. And Herbert made like Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen plays where most quarterbacks can't do that. And he just made a play that no one could see happening. That was great. And I think he's going to do well for the Chargers and lead them to the playoffs this upcoming season. At number 8, I have is Kyler Murray, the guy who threw a Hail Murray. Okay, he did great with DeAndre Hopkins in his first season with him. He had to run a lot, like do a bunch of spin moves like Russell Wilson does for the Seahawks. But Kyler, he's very quick feet. He doesn't have that deep throw arm. He doesn't have like that quick throw. He throws it like a baseball when you watch him. But with Murray, he can make those quick throws, except it's not long balls unless you have DeAndre Hopkins, which he does. So that's great for him. But Kyler Murray, he needs to step it up for the Cardinals if he wants to get to the playoffs, especially being the best division in the NFL. That's going to have to make him step it up more if he wants to make the playoffs, at least for the wild card, because that division for him, it's going to be tough to win it. So Murray, you got to step it up and get protection at O-line, because that's why you kept running last year, so you need a bit of help there. But looking at his stats from last year were 26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, so that's basically almost 2 touchdowns per 1 interception of ratio. He had 3,971 passing yards, so you can see he doesn't throw the ball that deep. 67.2 completion percentage, so he would throw like short passes. He had a 68.9 QBR, that's impressive, and he had a 94.3 passer rating. That's good, but not impressive. So Kyler Murray, he's got to step it up, and I think he's going to step it up for the Cardinals to make the playoffs. At number 7, I have is Ryan Tannehill. He was pretty impressive with the Titans last season with A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, and he had King Henry too. He was doing great at that quarterback position. He deserves to get recognition for that, and he had great stats last year. Despite his passing yards, he had still good stats. But he helped this Titans offense be great, even with Derrick Henry carrying it for them. But he did great with A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, getting them open, getting the touchdowns easier, then not having to use Henry sometimes. Still good offense for the Titans they have, and I think they're going to win the division. Ryan Tannehill, I think he needs to step it up just a tiny bit more. I think he's about in that elite conversation if he performs well again this season. I think he's on. He's definitely a solid quarterback. He just needs to step it up like a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, and then he's in the elite conversation. But his stats from last year were 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That's dang impressive. 3,189 passing yards. That's not that impressive at all. That's like okay-ish for a quarterback to get that many passing yards. He had 65.5 completion percentage. That's okay. 78.3 QBR. That's impressive. And he had 106.5 pass rate. Now that's very impressive for a quarterback. So Ryan Tannehill is going to do well, and it's going to help the Titans win the division of the AFC South. At number 6, I have is Dak Prescott, America's team. No. Dak, he didn't play much last year because he got hurt on a scary injury, and it was very sad to see him not play last year. It's fun watching Dak Prescott, but it was a shame that he got hurt last year and didn't play that much. He's going to do well if his injury is fine. If he stays healthy, he's going to perform phenomenal. You have to be careful with his injury because that was a serious injury. And the Cowboys are being cautious with his injury, of limited with him of how much he can play and all that. So you have to be careful with Dak Prescott. But Dak has got the arm, he's got the legs, he's got everything. And he's got a great offense too with Mari Cooper, Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, offensive line. They stay healthy. Dak is going to have a great year, I see him. I don't know if he's going to put up the same stats he did in 2019 with 30 touchdowns and 11 interceptions and 4,902 passing yards, 68 completion percentage, and a 78.7 QBR with a 97.7 passer rating. I don't think he's going to perform that. I think he's going to perform solid numbers for them. So I think he's going to do well for the Cowboys, and he can be elite if he takes a huge step. But right now he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's elite because of that injury costing him last year. So then you have to watch him again to see if he's elite. But right now he's a good quarterback and a solid guy. So it's just watching him you have to see, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt again. But I think Dak's going to do well for the Cowboys this year. And the Cowboys aren't going to go far in the playoffs. We all know that. At number 5, I have is Tom Brady. I hate you so much, Tom Brady. I hate you. Well, Tom Brady, you have to give him respect of winning another Super Bowl. So many Super Bowls he has. So many. With Tom Brady, he did excellent with the Buccaneers. He won the Super Bowl in his first year with them. He had a top 10 defense. He had his weapons. Running back wise, he had so many running backs like Leonard Fournette, Sean McCoy, Ronald Jones. And then his wide receivers, they're the best duo in the league right now. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, pretty great duo. So Brady Brady just had to play it right as normally he does, and he's good. He's an elite quarterback right now. But if you look back at his stats from last year, 40 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, 4,633 passing yards, 65.7 completion percentage, 72.5 QBR, and 102.2 passer rating. Those numbers are about better than Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson's a good quarterback, but Brady has done solid and has been playing phenomenal in his career. He's been playing elite the whole time, and that's phenomenal to see out of a guy who's in his 40s and he's still putting up this level. Hopefully he doesn't do it. I just hope he doesn't, but you never know with Tom Brady, because he might turn up, which he probably will, but you never know when it's gonna stop for him. So you have to watch out for Tom Brady. He's a great quarterback, but I see Tom Brady finishing at 5 right now because the other quarterbacks have so much eliteness. He knows how to win the games. He knows how to do it all. But I give Tom Brady props for winning the Super Bowl and putting up a great season. You're not going to last that long, Brady. You know that. But we move on from Brady. Woohoo. At number 4, I have is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a great quarterback. He has arm, he's got quick feet, he can run very fast. Not like a Lamar Jackson fast, but he can run fast. So with Russell, all he needs help with is O-line. He has not had O-line ever. He needs help on there because he gets the blitz every play. Even if it's not a designed blitz play from the defense, he still gets pressured all the time. And he needs help. He has DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett for wide receivers and Chris Carson for running back, but he needs help on that offensive line to protect your guy. Seahawks, you gotta protect Russell Wilson. He's a phenomenal player. He can do a bunch of crazy moves, spin moves, arm side ones. He can do it all too. So Russell Wilson, he's pretty great. He just needs offensive line help. Can you help him out, Seahawks? Can you help him out? But looking at his stats from last year, he had 40 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, 4,212 passing yards, 68.8 completion percentage, 73.5 QBR, and 105.1 passer rate. That's still impressive. That is an elite stat there, like Tom Brady's was. He is an elite quarterback, and he keeps performing up every year. He just needs offensive line help and a solid defense. He'd be doing well in the playoffs, but he doesn't have a solid defense and offensive line, because the last time he had that was the Legion of Boom, and that was a long time ago. But Russell Wilson, he's going to do great. It's just his team needs to do a whole lot better. At number 3, I have is Josh Allen. Josh Allen was playing like an MVP last year. Even when he didn't start out great in the first couple weeks of the season last year, he played like an MVP after those first couple weeks. Like, he had the deep arm. He kept connecting with Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley. They kept connecting, and Josh Allen helped the Bills win the AFC East for the first time in about 20 years. That is dang impressive for the Bills, because the Patriots have dominated that division, especially with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But Josh Allen broke the curse for the Bills and helped them win the division and helped them go far in the playoffs. So Josh Allen, he's a great quarterback to watch, especially with his arm, and he can run too, so that's pretty good. I think he's going to do well, and I see him winning MVP this year. That's just my opinion, but I think he's going to do well for them. But looking at his stats last year, they were also pretty impressive, like an elite quarterback, and I think he's an elite quarterback too. He had 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, 4,544 passing yards, 69.2 completion percentage, 81.7 QBR, and 107.2 passer rate. That's very impressive. And Josh Allen performed those numbers again. He might turn it up for touchdowns, but he's going to do very well for the Bills. And the Bills are going to go deep. I could see him winning the Super Bowl even. Josh Allen is going to help this team out and do very well and play like an MVP like he was last year. Josh Allen, go help the Bills win a Super Bowl. At number 2, my rankings. This was a tough decision because you have the young GOAT and then you have the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes, you didn't win MVP last year, but you performed well. You didn't beat my guy. You're gonna be great every year. You're gonna win MVP. You might win another Super Bowl. Just depends if you have a good defense or not. I'm not gonna give you 2 here because you can have it the rest of the time. You can have it the next 10 years. You can have all of those. Just this one. Just give it to my guy. Just this one time, Mahomes. This one time. You can settle and wait on him being gone. Once he's gone, then you can take over the league. You already took over the AFC. You can take over the whole whole NFL when he's gone and retired. Patrick, you are getting number 2 right now, okay? You're getting number 2. Patrick Mahomes, what isn't there bad to say about him? There's really nothing to say bad about him because he performs like Aaron Rodgers every year. Mahomes can make no-look passes that you saw last year. He has great offensive weapons. Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the NFL. He has the fast cheetah, Tyreek Hill. He has a great running back once he gets going. But the problem for Patrick Mahomes last year was his offensive line and his defense. His offensive line hurt him last year, especially in the Super Bowl. When you would watch Patrick Mahomes, he had run all around. He would get blitzed every time. Like I mentioned before, Russell Wilson. It's not even a blitz from the defense. It was just the defensive line collapsed the O-line and just kept pass rushing him every time. He had a lot of pressure in that Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes couldn't get it done. This season, he might get it done, but you have to wait and see for that. He can also win MVP again. I can see that from him too. Well, I just don't think he's going to win MVP because of Josh Allen. But looking at his stats from last year, he had 38 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 4,740 passing yards, 66.3 completion percentage, 82.9 QBR, and 108.2 pass rate. Impressive, elite. That is a normal stat for Patrick Mahomes. He's going to do great again. He just needs O-line help and a solid defense. But he's going to help the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes is a future Hall of Famer. And now finally, we get to number 1, the reigning MVP of 2020, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. The GOAT, as I say, the GOAT. This dude, he keeps doing it every year. And Patrick Mahomes is going to do that also. But Rodgers, he's done it for a long time. His stats were phenomenal. He helped take this team back to the NFC Championship game, even though they lost. I get that. You can save that for the comments, people. But that's impressive to take your team back to the NFC Championship and win the division again and perform a higher level than what he did in his first year with Matt LaFleur. That is impressive. He's got the weapons. He has the number 1 offense from last year with the best wide receiver, Devontae Adams, top 10 running back, Aaron Jones, best offensive line in the NFL with the best left tackle, David Bakhtiari. He had Corey Linsley, the best center in football, but he went to the Chargers. He had Elton Jenkins, the best versatile O-lineman in the NFL. So he had great weapons, not to mention his defense. He has a top 2 CB, Jair Alexander, and I wouldn't say he's 2. And then he's got Zadarius Smith, who's a great pass rusher. He's definitely a top 10 pass rusher, people. Do not undervalue Zadarius Smith. He's pretty good. Then he had Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage at safeties, who were pretty solid. The only problems for Rodgers last year was the Bucs defense making decisions, Matt LaFleur on the 4th down, and the CBs were an issue for the Packers. With Rodgers, he performed phenomenal, and I would say he performed better than his first MVP he won back in 2011, when that was one of the best MVPs in the NFL of all time. He performed great. He put up 48 touchdowns, almost had 50. He was close. He wouldn't have broken Peyton Manning record, but that was impressive. 5 interceptions, 4,299 passing yards, 70.7 completion percentage, 84.6 QBR, 121.5 pass rating. That is very impressive, and that is elite. That is an elite quarterback, and he always will be an elite quarterback. But when you look at his touchdown interception ratio, it is 9.6 to 1 touchdowns per interception. That is very impressive for how many touchdowns he can get in an interception. He has not had over 10 interceptions since his rookie year, basically. He's gone so far without having 10 interceptions in a season. That's impressive. His passing yards, that's pretty good. They're not great like Tom Brady's was, but they were great. His completion percentage, that is the best in the NFL. With a C, he had an 84.6 QBR, the best in the NFL, and 121.5 passer rating. And if you compare the stats he did to his first MVP, I would say that's better. I was gonna say, you can make the argument whichever is better, but that's impressive. And he's won his 3rd MVP. Impressive again. This dude, he's done well. Now, can we win a Super Bowl again, please? I would appreciate that. But we have no idea what's gonna happen to Aaron Rodgers after the season. Whether he leaves, trade, gets cut, or retires, we have no idea what's gonna happen with him. He might stay also. We still don't know. We have to wait. But I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm gonna focus on this season. If it's his last football season, I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of it. So I would love him to win the Super Bowl and win win MVP again, I just really care about winning that Super Bowl with him. I really want that. He performed great, and MVP needs to get recognition. EA Sports, put him on the cover. You didn't, and you should have put him on the Madden cover. You should have. But that is my rankings for my top 10 QBs for this upcoming season. Let me know what you guys think about my list. What did you like? What did you not like? I know there's people gonna say Lamar Jackson. I'm not putting Lamar Jackson because he's a running back. He is a running back. He will not throw it that well, and he had about 2,000 passing yards. When he gets over 3,000, then we'll talk about that. But he does not throw the ball that often. He's a running back, and that's how he won MVP, by being a running back. He will get a rushing touchdown. He will run for a couple yards. The only time you want Lamar Jackson is if you need a running back or if you want to win your fantasy football league. That is the only time. But Lamar, he's running all day on the field, so he can go use the back. That is what Lamar Jackson is doing. So I'm going to leave it at that for Lamar Jackson. I hope you guys enjoy this. Leave a like on this video. If you like more content of these videos, hit that subscribe button below and hit that notification button also that alerts you when my new videos are going to come out. But that's a wrap from here. Whatever we want to call this studio, place, whatever we want to call this place at all. I don't know. You guys can comment about that, whatever you guys want to call this place. But sign off and hopefully see you guys more in my upcoming videos. Go Pack, go!